So I said at the head coach openings, we have 4 through week 5 of the college football season. In the Power 4, Arkansas opened up on Sunday. Sam Pittman, he is out after 6 seasons, 32 and 34. The former Georgia offensive line coach. There were some ups, there were certainly some downs. This felt like a slow-moving train, and after an embarrassing 11 a.m. to Marcus Freeman in Notre Dame, 56-13. Sam Pittman is out at Arkansas. Bobby Petrino, former Arkansas Razorbacks head coach, will take over for the rest of the season. So where does Arkansas turn from here? What does Arkansas need? Just some quick thoughts. Arkansas is a tough job. It's a tough place to win, especially in the SEC. The investment level, I don't question. There have been some conversations regarding, well, is Arkansas doing everything that they need to do to win at the highest level? I think that now comes with getting the right coach in Fayetteville. And who is that guy going to be? I think a really attractive name, you're going to hear this name a lot from me, is John Summerall, especially given his SEC coaching chops, both at Ole Miss and Kentucky. He's the head coach of Tulane right now in his second season. He fits the mentality. And what I mean by that, it's a blue collar, chip on the shoulder type of mentality, and a type of guy that you need to be a little bit of a mouth breather to understand what he's going into. And a type of guy that has been in the SEC, in that conference, knows what it looks like to win, and is not going to be afraid to ask for those type of things. The other thing is, I think Summerall, his staff have done a tremendous job at Tulane, only a year and a quarter in, just from a talent identification evaluation standpoint, and player development standpoint. This is a fit here. It's somewhat of a calculated shot, but if you were to go from the group of 5 ranks, that would be the guy. Arkansas is going to need an established head coach. Some other names out there, Will Stein, the offensive coordinator at Oregon. I like it. I can get on board with it, especially anybody that has worked under Dan Lanning long enough. They're going to know what the infrastructure is supposed to look like. The other thing that I like about the Will Stein potential fit in Fayetteville is the offensive genius. He is technically, not unquestionably, but he is in the upper echelon of play callers in college football. Maybe one of the best, if not the best, play caller in the game right now. So Will Stein is a name that makes sense. You'll hear some other names thrown around. Jeff Traylor is a name that Trey Biddy at 24/7 Sports has thrown around. Glenn Schumann, the defensive coordinator at Georgia. It's going to be interesting where Arkansas goes from here. But this is a job, realistically, that I think can be attractive for the right head coach. And for me, as of right now, that is John Summerall. We're a quarter of the way through, which means there are other jobs that are going to open up. Florida mainly, I think, impacts the way the rest of the SEC moves. In the noise behind the scenes on Florida, if that were to open it up, it seems, at least from the agency talk, that they would have their eyes set on Ole Miss head coach Lane Kiffin. Whether or not he would go remains to be seen. That being said, you hear Lane in his press conferences before they played LSU, and anytime you really listen to Lane, he uses the media well to really kind of communicate to his booster base in Oxford. LSU has one of, if not the most talented rosters in college football. That's what he said this week. LSU paid for the 2 highest price tags in the defensive backfield in college football. That's his way of saying, hey, we'd like to be competitive in that space. We're not there yet. And you got to give credit to Ole Miss and their financial NIL arm. They've done a tremendous job, especially with the quantity that Ole Miss invest in the transfer portal. That is their lifeline, not high school. So Ole Miss is invested. I'm not questioning that. I just wonder if Lane, in this hypothetical situation, says, you know what, I'm better positioned in state to go up against Mike Norvell and Mario Cristobal with the financial resources of a Florida than I am Ole Miss. And this year and last year is going to be a really good litmus test of like, how high is the ceiling? Ole Miss undefeated, coming off a big win. We'll get into that a little bit later. But how far can you go with this team? And right now, the buzz is really high, as it should be. Does it even out at some point? Does this team make the playoffs? Can they get past the quarterfinals? Maybe Lane thinks, I got a better chance of winning a national championship somewhere else. The reason I say all that is because once that's in motion, hypothetically, Ole Miss becomes available. Then what's a better job for a guy like John Summerall? Is it Ole Miss or is it Arkansas? And it's important because year one, in terms of what you inherit, that's part of the attractiveness of these jobs as well. So we will see. There are some dominoes that have yet to fall, that have not fallen. A couple more jobs that have opened up. Virginia Tech being one in the ACC. I'm putting together a story on the first 100 days of what a new head coach's job should look like at each one of these job openings. Thank goodness I have some time to put those together. But I started doing some research on Virginia Tech, and I was talking to Colby Crawford, and if you're a Hokies fan and you don't know who Colby Crawford is, works at 24/7 Sports. He is a senior in college, does a phenomenal job. And I got put in touch with him from a mutual contact and got to pick his brain for a while on the Hokies and everything from an internal process administratively, what had gone wrong in years past under Brent Pry over the last couple of years. What does the alignment look like at the top, all the way from the governor of Virginia to the board of visitors to the new head coach to Bruce Arians leading the search committee. Virginia Tech is a really fascinating job because it's one of those places to me in the ACC, geographically, you're set up to be successful. And the DMV is a talent-rich area. Virginia has had some years being down. I think it was 2024, where that was probably one of the best years that they had in the state of Virginia in a while. Virginia Tech has done a very poor job in Maryland. Could do a lot better job in D.C. Could do a lot better job in Charlotte. Could do a lot better job in Tennessee. Could do a lot better job in Georgia, Florida. My point is, there are natural resources that exist in Blacksburg that would make that job attractive. Can Virginia Tech and the people that currently run that operation, can you even tell me who runs that operation? Who's making the decision? Can those people put their pride aside and get out of their own way to put somebody in place that can put Virginia Tech back in a spot to compete for an ACC championship? Virginia Tech has more questions to answer about themselves than they would any candidate they're going out there to go vet. And whoever it is, especially if it's an experienced head coach, the interview process is going to be the coach interviewing the administration and Bruce Arians and the board of visitors and saying, who do I answer to? What does this look like? Will you give me the runway to be successful here? So that's what Virginia Tech looks like. I would expect a guy like John Summerall's name to come up there, even though if Arkansas is interested in Summerall, Ole Miss could potentially be interested in Summerall if Lane were to go. Rebels fans, don't kill me. I'm playing the hypothetical game. And I'm getting out ahead of myself, right? That's the part of this exercise. But is it a Alex Golish? Is it a Fran Brown from Syracuse? Is Virginia Tech that much better of a job than Syracuse for Fran Brown? That's where you are right now. So Virginia Tech is interesting, but it needs the right push. It needs the right vision, and it needs the right voice to be able to stiff arm some of those buffoons that have put this program in the position that they have. Two other jobs open that I'm not as familiar with. UCLA out in the Big Ten. All I can tell you is about UCLA. I worked in the Pac-12 footprint. I worked both at Washington. I worked both at Oregon. The biggest thing there is that there is a lack of resources committed to the football program. These are not serious people. These are people that are not serious about winning at UCLA. And until that gets fixed, especially with the AD, who's now being given another opportunity to bring in a head coach, until that gets fixed, I don't know if any of it does. UCLA is a tough job. How do you put people back in the stands in LA? In LA and UCLA should be an attractive job. It's a traditional program that's rooted in history, that has had success, that's in Los Angeles, and one of the biggest hotbeds in all of the country. And in this day and age of NIL, this should be one of the more attractive college football destinations. Now, Adam Peters, a UCLA alum, is involved in this coaching search. Bob Myers, I read as well. I could be wrong. I got to go back. I got to double check. I believe Bob Myers is. Adam Peters and Bob Myers have worked together before. Bob Myers, one of the best front office executives for the Golden State Warriors during their championship run. So they have a collection of people that gives you a little bit of hope. But I'm in I'll believe it when I see it mode with UCLA. The last one, Oklahoma State. G.J. Kinney's been rumored there. You have Zach Robinson, the offensive coordinator at the Atlanta Falcons. Used to play quarterback for the Cowboys. 3 out of the 4 have commonalities in terms of these head coaching vacancies where there's administrative issues. And that's going to be an issue for the majority of experienced head coaches. Like, this job is hard enough as it is. Can you give me the things that I need to be successful? Jeff Traylor, a name there, head coach at Texas San Antonio. But if I had to bet right now, probably be G.J. Kinney, head coach at Texas State. So we will see what the rest of the year looks like. What's it look like at Kentucky? Mark Stoops. Are the Wildcats ready to make a move? It's been a little ugly, a little cloudy there in Lexington. So a couple jobs in the SEC that we have our eye on. And Florida, obviously, seems inevitable at some point that they're going to yank Billy Napier out of there. And where do they go? So there you have it. 4 jobs open in the Power 4, and we're just getting started. We're only through week 5.